This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this is like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review, and you can do that anywhere. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, everywhere podcasts are found, and pass the word around. I really greatly appreciate it. Just recently, I had an encounter with a person who I've known for a long, long time. Someone who listens to this podcast and who's been a friend of mine, who was asking me really basic questions that I'm going to call reflecting. Reflecting over the past, reflecting over things you believe in, maybe even things that you've changed your mind about. And so I want to talk today to you, leader, about reflecting. What are the major things as you look back over your life that you reflect on? I reflect on the fact that there were some certain things that happened in my life, and I think the same would be with you. Now, there'll be some of you who will say, well, those things, that was just luck. I do still like the definition of luck. That's when at the intersection of opportunity and preparedness, you will find luck. You have to be prepared. I'm a person of faith, so I'm going to call it providence or the grace of God. But so many things that at the time seemed like a random, unimportant introduction, situation, and invitation that has reverberated and been a lifetime of wonderful, wonderful blessings and results. My wife and I are about ready to go back to the college that we graduated from for the Board of Trustees meeting and commencement. And we were recounting today that in our freshman year, 1974, and especially our sophomore year of 1975 is when we really began dating. Do you realize the power of a choice? It's not just what you choose, but in the choosing, you unchoose everything else or everyone else. Now, it's not that anyone was standing in line to marry me, but by becoming engaged and then married to my present wife, and will be shortly celebrating a 41st wedding anniversary in about 2 months. It's hard to believe how that one decision has shaped and directed my life, and I am such a significantly better person. Even down to the choosing of where I went to college. I had an academic scholarship to go to a state university in my home state, but felt impressed of the Lord that He wanted me to go to the church college, and I did. And all of my friends and all of the major influences of my life happened at that one decision. And one thing, as you labor over decisions you're making, just think about the impact in your life over decisions that you did without a whole lot of conscious thinking. As he was talking to me, my friend, he said, what would be some things that you think are pretty significant as you look back over your life? Well, one of the things is I wish I would have trained the people on my team better. Not that there was anything wrong with them. I had a strong team. But I feel I may not have been totally fair with them by not providing them ample opportunities for advancement and training and development. I am very much a believer today that one of the obligations we have is to train those around us to far exceed anything we were able to do. And along that same line, I would have spent more time mentoring. I've mentioned to you on numerous occasions that back when I was a young person, I never heard the word mentoring, but I had marvelous mentors. I think of them, and I'm at the age where a great many of them, if not most of them, are gone. There was never a signing of a contract. There was never an even asking, will you coach me? Will you mentor me? Will you pour your life into me? But they did, and I'm better for it. I think of so many things that I still do today, I still believe today, certain practices that I follow, and it was one of these significant mentors who taught me that, mentioned that to me. And what I'm wanting to do with the remainder of the time that I have here for my earthly walk is to find some people that I can pour my life into and to mentor them. I'm not just talking about money-making endeavors. I'm talking about significance. I really want to pour into their lives. It's a shame to have all the experiences you have as you get more mature in age and all of the dumb things you've done that you've learned from and a few of the things that succeeded, to just go to your grave with all of that untold and bottled and buttoned up inside of you, when you could be and I could be passing that information and those experiences on. And that's what I told him, reflecting, I'd want to do. I told him that one of the most important things that I've ever learned in life was you have to hold yourself accountable. Too many people want to think everything that goes wrong in their life is someone else's fault, and it is not. Hold yourself accountable. If you promised you're going to do something and you weren't able to do it, own up to it, woman or man up to it, and take accountability and say, it's my responsibility. Be accountable. Everyone seems to today want to point the finger at everyone else. I mentioned in my social media feed that one of the things that is really irritating to hear someone say when you're asking them for help in a store, in a business, and when they say, well, I'm sorry, that's not my job. Customer service is everyone's job. Helping others is everyone's job. It doesn't matter if you're a pope, a priest, a potentate, what title you have, whether you're a volunteer or whether you're paid. Everyone is in the customer service business. Another thing that I said to my friend that I have learned upon reflecting over these years is, you'd better pay attention. Bad things happen when we let things slide and think we're in cruise control and think everything's just going to continue on as it is right now. I continually tell people when they pay attention. Don't just pay attention to the minor things. Pay attention especially to the things that are really consequential and that really matter. Oftentimes people think that you are hired because you went to a certain school, or you have a certain set of experiences, or you knew the right people, or you took the proper exam, or you did certain things, and so here you are. It just now logic follows, this is where you are. But what you are there for is not because you're beautiful or handsome, as nice as that is, not because of how well connected or well educated or how well you interview. Wherever you are in life today, you are there to be a problem solver. You may have all sorts of things laden inside of your job description, but number one is be a problem solver. Now, many people want to put that off on someone else and say, well, I'm here for some other reason. If you receive a paycheck and you have a responsibility, a part of that skill set that you absolutely must develop is to be a problem solver. There's a particular thing that I wished I would have caught on to earlier in life. It is not something that comes to me naturally. It was never and has never been a default position with me. And that is, in the area of communication, I thought talking was simply the only communication skill, making a speech. Talking. I love to talk, but actually a major component of communication is listening, and not just listening with empathy. I was recently involved in a difficulty with a group of people that I was amazed that there was no real ability for people to assess themselves correctly. They were unable to regulate, and there was almost zero empathy. No one was able to step out of the situation they were in and look at the situation from the other person's perspective. It doesn't mean that you have to like it, that you buy into it, or that you change your mind. But you're not going to be a problem solver. You're not going to be able to help people unless you can see where they're coming from, their point of view. If you believe that anyone who doesn't agree with you is crazy, you're not going to make it very far. You and I are not always right. There are other perspectives, other viewpoints, all of which are valid. So I would say not only developing listening skills would be in reflecting what I wished I could have done earlier, but to do so with empathy. Empathy is the WD-40 of relationships. It will help the squeaky places and the places out of joint go a little more smoothly. Another thing upon reflection that I would like to share with those who follow after me is that don't be afraid of failure. There are so many people that are nearly frightened, so frightened they can hardly do anything. Failure is your teacher. You look at anyone that you admire who you deem to be a very successful role model. You'll not have to dig very deeply or go back very far into their past until you'll find out that everything didn't go the way they wanted it to all of the time. And there's nothing to be afraid of if you allow failure to be your teacher. Do not allow failure to be anything more than it is, an event that shows that that wasn't the right way to do it. Don't let failure be your undertaker, your mortician, your funeral home director. Let it be your teacher. As much as it pains me, the greatest lessons I have learned, unfortunately, have not come from when everything went well and all the bells were ringing and everything was lining up perfectly, beautifully, and even better than planned. Yes, we will all have those kinds of experiences. But the greatest, longest lasting lessons that I have ever learned and have helped to develop me to this point is the times that I failed. Don't be afraid of failure. Going back to my mentors, one of the things that I so enjoyed in picking their minds was I wanted to know what they did when they faced difficulties. What did they do? I asked them, even at times, I remember asking a couple of them, what have I not asked you that I should be asking you? What are some things you never knew or you never thought about when you went into your leadership position? What is it I need to be careful about? Well, they'll help you, and you ought to stop and ask people that. That's an invaluable question, and it provides a bountiful harvest of answers and helps that you can latch onto. One of the other things that I mentioned as I was thinking about reflecting on my leadership is continue learning. There's nothing more dangerous than when a woman or a man thinks they know it all. Keep reading. Read broadly, read widely. And today it's so much easier. You can listen to people, you can listen to TED Talks, all sorts of YouTube videos, podcasts, blogs, ebooks. The information is there. Continue learning. Don't think you're the leader. Think you are the lead learner. What are you going to learn today? And then I think the last thing that I would think about is the fact that those of us who have a lot of experiences ought to volunteer to come alongside and help people. Ought to once in a while take on a project that there's no remuneration. There's nothing that we can do other than to offer some experience and some thoughts, and if there's any way that we can help. And in the reflection is we need to be prepared. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. You know, prepare the umbrella, before it rains. And that's what I would want to tell anyone as I'm reflecting on my life. You know, the days are long, but the years go by quickly. And here's what you'll know. You are making a difference. You really are. Share it and pour your life into the lives of others. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today for you it has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really, truly are. Don't ever forget it. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.